This is the High School Football America podcast for March the 23rd, 2020. I'm Jeff Fisher. The High School Football America podcast is brought to you by GameStrat, America's premier sideline instant replay system with outstanding reliability and customer service and different plans priced right for every coach's budget. To get a demo, go to GameStrat.com or click on the GameStrat banner ad located on every page of HighSchoolFootballAmerica.com. All right, we're heading to Alabama, north of Montgomery. And if you've been following HighSchoolFootballAmerica.com since about the end of the year, right around the Christmas time, we were talking about a new football team coming down the pike, taking on a major national high school football schedule. It's called the Ultimate Student Athletes Academy, USA Academy for short, and we've had their schedule up there for 2020. 5 teams on the 10-game schedule, having finished the 2019 season in the High School Football America 100. Very, very impressive. And the school's first head coach, C.J. Harris, is on the line. A little bit of background for Coach Harris. Coached last year at Park Crossing in Alabama. And Coach Harris has, as before I rolled the tape here, I said he's got more to do than just worry about X's and O's. He is starting a program from scratch. Welcome to the show, Coach.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing very, very well, and maybe that's where we hop off on things, right? You've been around this game a little bit. You coached at Sidney Lanier. You were at Park Crossing. You know what it's like to come in and put your thumbprint on a program, right? But generally speaking, you got a little history behind you. Here with USA Academy, you're a little bit different. So tell me a little bit about what you're doing right now. I know with everything being off, you're fixing your pool. You told me, but on the football side of things, what's it like to take a program from day one?
Well, first thing, just making sure everything is organized and structured. You know, that's one of the things that myself and one of the best guys in football right now, Kenyatta Watson, we've been talking every day, just trying to make sure all the X's are crossed and all the T's crossed and all the I's dotted, and just making sure that everything is, we're doing everything right. You know, it's hard. It's one thing taking over a program that have a foundation, but it's something else taking over a program where you're actually building the foundation. And, you know, anything that you build, as long as you put it on a great foundation, it will stand and go for a long time. Yeah, no, I mean, we're talking about everything, right? From the building of the stadium to the facilities, all of that sort of stuff. Probably a lot of people around the country are saying, well, why not give it a year, right? Why not go 2021? I mean, any thought to that? I mean, obviously, jumping in with that schedule that I said there, 5 teams finishing in the top 100 last year, that's no small hurdle. But was there any conversation about letting it go for a year? Give me a little bit of background there on that. Well, you know, when I first heard about it, you know, I said the same thing. Why not let it, you know, about a year, get out and go find the top tier guys that you can go find. And, you know, once I came into the picture and took over, you know, it's one of those things, just grab the bulls by the horn and let's ride. And, you know, it's just one of those things right now. We're still trying to figure out just, you know, all the technical things, making sure that, you know, got buses, you know, making sure everything is squared away where the kids will be living, practice facilities, which, you know, with this coronavirus thing, it has put a damper in a lot of plans. So it's one of those things that it's a good thing and it's a bad thing. The great thing about it is we have a little bit more time that's giving us a little cushion to make sure that everything is organized. Mm-hmm. The bad thing about it is, like I told, I was talking to some of the coaches that, you know, and that's another thing, putting together a coaching staff, which I tell you this, we have some fire. We got some nice guys coming in. I already have a couple guys like Amir from St. Thomas Aquinas, defense coordinator, Nathan O'Neill, who's probably one of the best D-line coaches in the country. And then we have some other young talent that we're putting around these guys to make us a powerful staff and a powerful program. Yeah, it's going to be very, very interesting. C.J. Harris is on the line, the new head coach at USA Academy in Alabama, a little north of Montgomery there, and it's where he coached last year in that area at Park Crossing. And Coach, you know, I can't have an interview without discussing one thing, and we don't want to go too deep on it, but many people know, following news on our website, many national media outlets, that Rush Propst was introduced
introduced at the beginning of January, and Rush has won 7 state championships between Georgia and Alabama, and then all of a sudden he wasn't there. So my question to you is, did that set a good dish for you? Were you able to reset it? Were you able to build from that? Kind of how did that help? Because I know some of the kids were already coming to USA Academy prior to you taking over as a result of Coach Probst, right?
Right. And, the crazy thing about it, you have a lot of kids interested before, while he was in place. But you would be amazed that the phone calls and text messages and DMs that I have been receiving about still the interest of being a part of something new that, like I said, it's been amazing. Like I told a coach, I actually feel like a college coach. And, the hardest thing is telling kids no, which in my profession, it's not every day that you tell a kid no. But, we've been getting a lot of great interest from a lot of great guys from around the country. You'll be amazed and surprised at some of the kids that is trying to come and play for us.
Yeah, actually, I wouldn't be surprised, to be honest with you. I've kind of seen some of the names. And Coach Harris, I want to ask you this question because people are already kind of prepared for this, right? We've gone through the IMG Academy phase of high school football, right? So now you guys are coming in here. Does that make it easier, harder? And it sounds like it's easier the way you're saying you're getting DMs and text messages and all that. But I'm just curious what your approach to that is and finding the kids and getting the kids to come to you.
Well, the biggest thing is you have seen being able to see programs that have made it successful, have seen programs that have failed, and just making sure that, like I said, taking all these things from these great programs like the IMGs, the St. Francis, the programs like that, and putting your own tweak on it to make it bigger and better than the IMG and the St. Francis Academies.
And then you're also looking on the student athlete side of things too, right? I mean, this is not just a football factory, so maybe you want to talk about that a little bit.
Yes, sir. Just, at the same time, just making sure that we find the right pieces, guys that wanting to get it done academically. You can be the best player in the world, but not getting it done on the academic realm will hinder you from going to the college realm, being able to be successul.
So now,
we're also looking for the best athletes and the best student athletes that we can find.
And I know on your Twitter account, you guys have been touting, kids that are, you're using the word committed. Can you tell the listeners around the country a little bit some of the kids that you expect to have playing for you guys this year at USA Academy?
Oh, well, I know right now, we have a lot of kids, still have a lot of kids' interest that are still trying to come, One of the biggest names is C.J. Dixon, quarterback coming in from Georgia, and have another great kid that a lot of these kids I have talked to, Amir Fulton from out of Athens, Georgia. Also has Tracy Hill, who's probably one of the best corners I have seen in a long time out of Athens, Georgia. After talking to some of their high school coaches, I had one. Tracy, them coach called me, reached out to me, and just told me some great things about the kids. And just, biggest thing, just telling me that, everything's going to be fine, everything's going to be great, and just continue doing what we're doing to make sure that we get these kids in and make sure we take care of them.
How on the academic side will that be run? Because I think I've seen different stories, and I'm going to the horse's mouth on this now. So is this going to be online? Will there be buildings for this? Explain that to the listeners around the country.
Yes, right now they're doing online and just making sure that what everybody else is doing online, basically, got buildings coming for the academic part. And that was one of the things that we sat down the other day, making sure that the academic portion time allotted is equivalent to the football time. Like I said, I just don't want kids just thinking that they're coming to USA Academy just to play football and not do any schoolwork. It has to go hand in hand. So the amount of time allotted for football will be the same amount of time allotted for studies and even more, even with the study hall that we have built into the schedule and things like that.
Talking with C.J. Harris, the head man at USA Academy in Alabama, a huge national schedule here we're going to talk about in just a little bit. Here's a question, and I kind of had this question posed at Kevin Wright when I had him on the line several years ago when he took over at IMG, which is, it's one thing when you're a high school coach, just like he was, right? He was working in a regular public school, knew the ins and outs, and it's real easy, right? Kids are coming in there from the community. Now, you get something where you're going and you're getting kids from around the country, the word homesick can come into play. Have you thought about that yet? How you going to make sure these young men aren't a little homesick there in Alabama?
Well, we have a lot of time allotted for the kids to be able to go home, on the weekends, but during the summer months that we're doing things. Also during the season where we have I think we have one of the best plans ever to make sure that these kids do not get homesick. Biggest thing is when you're keeping kids busy with schoolwork, football, if they really love it, it's almost like a pre-preparation for college and what college life is going to be like, just being away from home.
Talking to C.J. Harris, USA Academy in Alabama. And Coach, because you're not part of the Alabama High School Athletic Association, you're independent, what sort of parameters do you have when it comes to practice? And I know obviously right now with the coronavirus it doesn't come into play, but do you have more latitude there? You mentioned the summer and all that, so how does that stack up and get you ready going into fall camp?
Well, we're going to basically, adhere to most of the guidelines that, most of the high schools around the state of Alabama are adhering to.
Okay.
Making sure that we're not doing nothing, too strenuous or anything crazy, anything like that. Biggest thing is making sure that we fall into the same categories of the big-time programs in the state of Alabama. And making sure that, myself being a coach that has been in the High School Athletic Association for over 15 years, just making sure that we adhere, because if you adhere to those guidelines, you have nothing else to worry about because you're basically following the same platform that the schools that are in the High School Athletic Association are playing by.
Yeah, and is there a goal to join, whether it's the AHSAA or the AISA, the independent schools? Any plan there? Is this going to be, right now at least, the goal is to be kind of like the IMG where you're on your own, adhere to regulations, but definitely no goal to go in and join a state organization?
Well, from what I was told, that's the main focus right now, just for the first year or two, just keep it like the IMGs and schools like that, and then who knows, we might be able to get into the Alabama High School Athletic Association or the AISA, just depending on how things go.
Yeah,
this first year or two.
Sure. C.J. Harris on the line, the new head coach at USA Academy. Mentioned it at the top. This is a powerful schedule that you have after opening up against Riverside Academy in Canada. 5 out of the 10 teams on the schedule in the top 100 in High School Football America's algorithm rankings. Let me just get your reaction as I say, okay, you got number 3, St. Francis out of Maryland, number 6, IMG Academy, number 12, Good Counsel of Maryland, St. Peter's Prep out of Jersey, and number 28, St. John's College High School out of Washington, D.C. Did you gulp on that one, Coach?
Well, it's not the first time I've been in a schedule like this. When I was at Prattville High School as an assistant coach, we would play the Miami Centrals. We actually played St. Thomas Aquinas, played Don Bosco, played the St. X out of Ohio. Had some other games set up to play some top tier teams. So, it's not my first rodeo being able to go or, even experience these type teams.
Yeah.
And even just the thrill of playing Hoover almost every year for the state championship game, these type, I'm used to playing in these type games and being in these type games. So, it's not a scare. Like biggest thing, just making sure that we have a solid staff, making sure, like I tell people, as long as you have some guys that can get the job done, everything should be fine, because at the end of the day, like I tell people, it's still 11-man football. It's all about X and O's and who has players, coaches, and all that type thing. So, I'm not, worried. At the end of the day, the schedule was already set when I took the job on. So whatever's set in front of us, we're going to prepare for it and get ready for it.
Bring it on. And I know what you guys did there at Prattville. Good friends with Jamie DuBose, the former coach there, who's now at Lowndes in Georgia. One thing
yes,
that one of the things that I think the listeners would be interested in is I mentioned all those big games, but as I look at it, let's see, back-to-back weekends, Maryland and Jersey. And then D.C.'s also a road trip, and back to Maryland, too. So talk a little bit about, not only are you worried about the X's and O's, but these young men. I mean, I guess the younger generation, not like you and I, us old folks, they travel a lot more, in their younger days. But, taking a group of young men and getting them, pretty far away from home, that should be interesting. Do you have anything special planned for that? I mean, is it going to be strictly football? Is there some educational stuff around that as far as visiting those areas? How do you have that set up, or are you looking at that?
Well, that's one of the things that, just prior planning will prevent poor performance, and just making sure that, that's one of the things that I was going to do myself, and I have an older coach that's going to do that with me also. We're going to travel to these places just to make sure that, we know where we're going, where we need to be, things that we can do. I don't want it to just be all about football. I want the guys to have learning experiences as they take these trips, and, we go on these trips, just learn different things while we're on the road.
Yeah, no
doubt.
It's
going to be one of those things that we're going to get out and pre-trip everything before we actually get out on the road and take the players.
So head coach and tour guide.
That's right.
CJ Harris is on the line as we wind things down here on the podcast, starting out USA Academy, year one, a very, very tough schedule. And I guess the thing we'll go away with here is you're still, waiting to see who all is going to be suiting up and on the team. But have you and your staff kind of said, well, here are the goals, here are the boxes we want to check to make sure that 2020 is outstanding. And if you're going to give me coach speak and say it's going to be 10-0, I'm going to be like, wow, I'm impressive. Let's see how high you climb in the High School Football America 100 then.
Well, that's everybody's goal. Any coach that don't have the goal or aspiration of being 10-0, I don't think saying they shouldn't be coaching, but my thing is, and that was one of the things that after meeting with some of the coaches last night, just making sure that we set the goal, set our vision, and make sure our brand is right, so that from starting this year to the upcoming years, that we're able to get the top end kids and make sure that we're doing everything we need to be doing to be successful. Well, Coach, but that's everybody's plan to be 10-0.
No doubt about that. I just always joke, at some point in time, you get the coach speak, and they're just like you have media speak. So we'll get through this together. But Coach, the last thing then would be, as far as the coronavirus is concerned, I've been asking all coaches on the podcast over the last week. You can do things different ways nowadays, right? Back when I was a kid, there was no such thing as FaceTime. Back then, there wasn't even an iPhone. So, but anyway, the long and the short of it is there anything that you're going to be able to do, or you're going to do over the coming weeks to make sure that the contact is there with the kids when you can't be in contact with them?
Well, big thing, just making sure, and that's one of the things I've been telling the coaches, just make sure you stay in contact with our kids. It's not about football. The biggest thing is just making sure that all the kids are healthy. They're doing everything they need to be doing. We're making sure that, all coaches are just educating kids on, the safety and the things that they need to be doing while we're going through these trying times in the United States, and we're actually all over the world. It's not about football. It's about everybody. It's about mankind as a whole, just making sure that everybody's safe, making sure that, we just communicating with the young adults and everybody taking this serious what's going on right now.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's we try to, make things, stop people on the podcast here from thinking about what's going on for just a few minutes and enjoy what we have. But that is the most important thing, which is everybody stays safe and healthy. And just as a funny moment going away here, I'm going to say your coaches, your children, evidently put you to work, because I was joking about the pool, but you're out there cleaning. So you got to get that done, Dad. You're not coach right now.
I got to get the swimming pool ready. Like like I said, we doing self-quarantine right now. Nobody in, nobody out. So, biggest thing, like I told them, we'll make sure this pool is ready to go by this weekend so we can have ourselves some fun and have a party, have our own party.
And you're finding out who the real head coach is, right? In the Harris family.
That's right.
Well, Coach, we wish you nothing but success this year, and I'm sure we'll be talking to you down the road. Thanks for joining us.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Hey, don't forget to follow us on Twitter. We've had a couple of fun days on Twitter with a couple of things that we're doing to try and get your mind off the news of the day. Yesterday, and you can still do it today, we put out my favorite high school football stadium. As you know, I love taking pictures of high school football stadiums. I put up the stadium at El Paso High School in El Paso, Texas. It's a lovely one, Jones Stadium. And then, it took fire. Everybody posting stadiums from around the country. Today on Monday, what we're doing is post your favorite helmet from your alma mater, and we're getting lots of traction on that too. Our handle on Twitter is at HSFB America, and you can follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/High School Football America, and our Instagram handle is also High School Football America. The High School Football America podcast is brought to you by GameStrat, America's premier sideline instant replay system with outstanding customer service and different plans priced right for every coach's budget. To get a demo, go to GameStrat.com or click on the GameStrat banner ad located on every page of HighSchoolFootballAmerica.com. I'm Jeff Fisher, and you've been listening to the High School Football America podcast.